Okay, so it's time and we can start the session now. So first and foremost, I would like to thank all of you for joining in today. My name is Kapil Nakra and I'm one of the co-founders of Digital Vidya. Today we have a very interesting session planned for you. The title of today's session is The Social Enterprise of 2014. What I mean by that is the enterprise that focuses on having social media as a core to all business communication. And in this session, we will answer questions like how to build brand using social media, whether you should start with listening or you should straight away launch campaign in the social media space. So how to really go about that, we'll actually delve into that area as well. And is social media really part of digital media, or does it has a role to play in overall marcom space? We'll look into that as well. We'll also look into how to develop a web dominance strategy using social media. We'll look into how much is a good spend on social media. I'm sure a lot of you will have that concern. And we'll also look into what are the KPIs for social enterprise and how to measure ROI on a regular basis. To lead this session, we have with us Bhupinder Khanal, who is the CEO of Simply 360, which is one of the world's leading organization in the social media space, focusing on social business intelligence. And they have customers in more than 100 organizations, 100 countries. Welcome, Bhupinder, and thank you for joining in today. So just for those of you who are joining us for the first time, this session will go on for about 1 hour duration. We'll have presentation for about 30-35 minutes. So if you have any question during the session, just keep typing it down, your questions in the question panel. And after the presentation, we'll have an open Q&A for about 20-25 minutes. We'll try to address all the questions that you will post today. And I'll try to take up all the questions in chronological order. So would request you to keep posting all the questions that you're having while the presentation is on. So without taking any further time, over to you, Bhupinder. We can start the session now.
Thanks, Kapil. So, I'm one of the co-founder, chief executive of 360. Like perspective on how are the social enterprise world all doing a lot of activities. So let us first start, right? I keep hearing from a lot of people that with the social media people, industry players like the platform companies like us, the media agencies, the marketing people within the organization or in the right side, right? That is to create a customer, and we keep talking about a lot of different ROIs, which is not related to this, right? So some of them are correct, and I have some thoughts on why that might not be a valid argument that people keep questioning us. So let us just this is the broad agenda, so which Kapil has mentioned, and I'll be one by one on this topic, which I have taken it here. Okay, the first one, the most important thing is what is social media, right? So we usually forget when we talk about social media that it is actually a part of media. So in the media, right, as we all know, that mostly like the celebrities, the innovations, the corporate strategy, the brand stories, and all this we keep on hearing and we keep on making it, and that's how the whole world of media works. And the social part is actually on the marketing side and the listening side. So I have actually divided this into two parts because there are a lot more to do with listening than only something like running campaigns or seeing it as a market tool. Then we have a lot of things to do. So a lot of the things you might already be doing, a lot of this you might not have been doing. And today I'll not question a lot on what you are actually doing and what you are not, but I'm I'm trying to talk about more on the strategic level and what actually should be done to create a huge business impact. So let us just take it's the election time. So let's just think about a political leader, right? So so then if we are given a task to promote a political leader, right, where should we start? And I think as a marketer, whether it is social or not, right, we should start with something very very important, like what are the important aspects of a marketing campaign, or what are the different groups of the peoples we want to influence, how to create a buzz in the market. So, take an example like suppose we are going to market a leader, and the leader goes and he meets different industry groups, he meets different influence groups, he collects some points from them, he makes the emotional connection, he goes and watches an um, uh, like India versus Sri Lanka match that happened just few days before, right? So there is a very good emotional connection that is being built. So we actually have to start right from here. And uh, where do we target, where do we go, what are the different sections in the society which needs to be influenced, right? And then like there are some activity areas and all this. So this is on one side that we can start. And along with this, we have to keep on saying what will give him or get him of some votes, right? So suppose like if I have to choose uh, a, a leader and vote, what would I actually look at? I want to vote a human. I want to vote a sensitive guy who listens to me. I he has some stand on some national issues. Is intellectual. Is futuristic. Is tech savvy. He is using new tools, and then he has vision. He is very active. He is always there, and he's very open-minded. So he collects information from the ground, right? So some of this is also like this. I think we have to also like work on the brand. How do we like come up with this strategy? How do we influence them? So a lot of these things happens in non-social marketing strategies, and in the smart social as well. Like we have to think on these lines. So to clearly see the metrics or the parameters uh, from which people are going to decide whether they buy us or not, whether they use our platform or not. So these are some of the very important aspects that we need to touch. People can be influenced with content, design, and timing. So now, like if we are marketing for a leader, right, we have to clearly give him the very powerful content, extremely good design, and the timing. So if we are posting something about the leader when there is an India versus Sri Lanka cricket match, no one is going to notice. So it's as good as useless, right? So we went through quality, and one of the goal that we could keep is maybe great leadership for superpower India, and those type of taglines have to be created. And the thing is, these are I'm just giving you some of the background on how we usually think on marketing simplify 360, and then when we talk to our partners or clients or in the ecosystem, we actually start from here. And and okay, once we finished the first part, that we thought about the strategy, we thought about the target, we thought about what to be done, then what? Then it is very important to understand that social media is about people. It's very important that we start uh, from listening. They're talking about brands, they're talking about competition, they're talking about their likes and dislikes and professions and power plans and all that. And then if we just could figure out a space where we could just jump in there and then grow with them. So this particular strategy is used by a lot of companies now. So they usually work to enable what people are already doing, and the impact, as you see, is huge. It's actually not comparable to any normal marketing or the advertising campaigns. So it has to start from mining the data. We have to like figure out like what people like, what people don't like, how are they what is their perception of my brand. If they don't have any perception, then I need to build it. But they already have it, then I might have to work on that. And the moment that you listen, right, a lot of the time, like we heard a lot about listening in 2010, 11, 12 time. I think in 2013 and onwards, it's very important that you don't just listen. You listen, analyze, and actually act. And act could be like uh, doing the customer service using social media. I see a lot of brands are investing a lot in the social media space, campaigning and marketing and building a huge community and all. But the moment that you complain, right, they just delete your complaints and it's gone. The whole investment in social media that they have made over a period of time is has just vanished. And 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 it is very important that a company, it starts with listening and then analyze things, then act, and the campaign should be built over it. So the first thing is in the action, it could be uh, the customer service, it could be reputation management type of thing, which is slightly lesser uh, intense activity on in the customer service side. Uh, the third could be like using the buzz that is already there in the market uh, to promote the company as a PR vehicle. So I suggest a lot of companies to not only focus on the negative buzz that they get in the social media space, but also collect that information and use for your PR. Like suppose if somebody is there in maybe Bhubaneswar or Kolkata who is talking good about maybe um, uh, one of the product, maybe like a bike, suppose say Pulsar, and somebody has written a blog article out of it. It makes every sense for Bajaj to actually post that article into their social channels and promote it, then try to create a new press release and send it across. Right. So there are various ways to do it, and I'll touch some of the other aspects in my later uh, uh, part of the presentation. So now, like, okay, so suppose say you have decided to actually listen, right? How does it start? So the most important factor that you need to understand is listening is not only about your brand, it is very much about your brand, your competition, your industry. Suppose say I'll give you one live example. Uh, Suppose say you are an FMCG brand and you are tracking your brand and your competition and understanding. But if you are missing out to track, suppose you have the product in biscuit category. If you're not listening to the discussion that is happening around healthy biscuits, maybe the whole world is moving towards healthy biscuits and people are talking about it, right? And then you might just be missing it. So those type of things are extremely important. So you have to like uh, this uh, set up your entire system in a way where you set the right expectation and things like in the listening side, like in general buzz would be anything people talk about your industry and your brand and uh, all that. And it is also very important to keep on identifying the evils, right? Because there might be 10 people who just keep like criticizing your brand. I would just say mark them as evil and ignore it. If there are just 10 people doing like 100 complaints a month, that's no way you should just be focusing on them. And there are such situations. So this is not a hypothetical situation. If you look at for Coca-Cola, right, there is one person called Amit Srivastav, and there is a killercoke.org. There is one site which is meant to criticize Coke, right? So you can't help, you just ignore it. And there are certain other ways where it is very important for you to know before something goes viral that something is going viral, put up a practice around it, and then act on it. So it could be good side and on the bad side, but it is very important to know that something is going viral. Then you obviously want to understand how much buzz is being created by the campaigns that you run, what is the reaction of the competitors, and also like it is very important to always keep a very close watch on major industry leaders. It could be the analyst, it could be the celebrities, whoever talk about your category or the product or the competition. And then there is a whole set of response mechanism with the timely reports, alerts, and conditional reports and all that. And also your response team and the creative team work very closely with this, because even your response have to be creative. And in many cases I've seen that if people are talking something negative about you, right, you can actually come there, give a very creative response, and actually convert them from a criticizer to an evangelist. So you don't want to miss that opportunity. So after listening, what happens? So I would still think, even after listening, just don't jump and just start thinking of a campaign. Think, who are you? Who you want to become in maybe 1 year, 5 year, 3 months, 6 months? What is your story, right? And think, are you actually interested in the market? And if you are going to do something, think whether you can create an interesting story about the things that you want to do, right? And then if you figure out that, like you figure out a very interesting story for yourself, right, and your whatever activity that you have done, because most of the coverage that I have seen in the social side is not, it's not about actual thing that is being done. It's about the activity or the background, how that particular thing is done. So I'll give you one example. So a lot of the time, I see a lot of stories in various media and blogs and the mainland media about how certain brand has run an amazing campaign. So that particular story is a bigger story than the campaign itself, right? So if you can think in those lines, and then the social campaigns can really be amazing. After you figured out your story, based on that story, design a campaign, design the ads and promotions for that campaign, because if you run a campaign without the promotion, that might not actually happen, right? And then there are targets and reaching out activities, then there is the intense activity plan, right? So the moment that you get this, now you are actually ready. So now you have thought through and you come to the activity plan. Now you have entire plan with you, right? But then does this ensure a success of a social media campaign or a social media marketing strategy, right? It might not. So I'll give you some of the best practices of how we used social media as a communication medium. And this is very important, that we should stop thinking social media as part of digital media or maybe digital marketing, I would say, because social media is heavily used. Almost more than 50% of the use case now, as I can see in the industry, is in the BPO industry. And then there are other huge cases of social media in HR industry. Now, if you have ever criticized your earlier employer, the chance that you don't get employed is very high. People are looking at that. And there are other ways as well. For sales lead generation, it is very actively used. The moment that you say that you just ask your friends, I'm planning to buy a home in Delhi, then you just wait for some time. There will be at least 5 companies approaching you as a lead. So there are much bigger use cases of social media, and the best part of using social media uh, is to think is as a communication medium, broader communication medium. And I can see some of the very interesting things that are happening in the industry already. Like I was attending a seminar in Mumbai, and a gentleman from Jet Airways, he came to the stage and he said, social media for us is a customer service problem, because we see customer service is the new marketing. And I was actually amazed by the thought that he had. I absolutely loved that, and I think that is the way to go. And the best part about that was the tagline that he used was very catchy and people loved it. So to create the stories in the market, right, to create the social content, very importantly, you need to think this very deep with content, timing, and the creativity right there, right? So we used, this is our actual case study. So we use the 7 pillars: education, design, collaboration, provocation, speed, consistency, and storytelling. I'll just quickly run through it, and then we'll again come out of Simplify 360. Education. We published a lot of studies, and newspapers, and right. So everybody will learn. A chance to teach them. It's our privilege. More than design, most of our content are designed, and to create some type of images. Actually, even our designer that we hired is an artist. He was a painter. We taught him how to use a computer program to create good images, and I think it has paid up well. And this cannot limit in the exhibition. This is our ad tech booth in Delhi. Last year we went there, we presented this. So wherever we go, we have maintained a good quality design. Celebration. So these are all the stories that people loved. Our friends and extended friends and the industry players. So everybody loved about it, and they shared all this content. So we celebrated our 4th anniversary in Goa. We celebrate almost every client and partner wins. Speed. We've been changing our brochure every 6 months and going for good. Consistency. We have been publishing research reports. Earlier we started with monthly 1, then monthly twice, then monthly 4 research reports, and we ultimately became one of the top 3 players in SlideShare in our industry. And LinkedIn today actually covered us with this Simula360 case study, how SlideShare helped Simula360 build a strong global brand. And I think this has come from our consistency. We actually kept on doing it for more than 3 years. Storytelling. Some can be interesting. So this is how we entered Korea. These are some more interesting stuffs. Provocation. So the most successful presentation in SlideShare that we had was why social media agencies suck. This was highly provocative. Actually, it was not actually saying that social media agencies actually suck, but it actually ends all the different doubts social media agencies, and people actually loved it. So those are some of the ways. Obviously, those are part of any marketing campaign, and social media campaign cannot be. Now, this is something that I love, and I have always felt that why are some companies just too good? They are just amazing, and some companies can never. Right? I think this makes the difference. Most important, social media, and then you either rock or you do nothing. Right? And best strategy in social is always to think that you are going to dominate the entire way. And when there are a lot of people who fight for domination, right, they create their own spaces. But if you're going to a certain segment, trying to influence others in a smaller way, that small thing will be much smaller than you actually thought, right? So let me just quickly run through this. So this is how I see. Like, there are content venues, there are promotional venues, there are intelligence things, and there are KPIs. Most of us are maybe familiar with this. But the most important thing is, have we ever thought this? So this is the most common part of a war game strategy. And if you think, how did United Kingdom or England, being such a smaller nation, ruled more than 72 countries of the world, right? Because they created towers. And this is very important for business as well. Like, the castle right here is our business. And if we don't have tower surrounding the business, the moment the competition comes, it will instantly hit the tower, hit the castle. And we don't want that to happen. So the other way to do it is focus on creating the towers. And these towers could be amazing slides, page, SU, anything. Is if you actually here, if you choose and make converts, then the moment they are fighting with the tower with you, your business is secured. And I have seen that in our case, like we started our company in 2009, and we have been constantly building a lot of towers. And one of our competition, they came in 2010 mid, and they started hitting wherever we had answered in Quora. They used to go there and comment there, and I think they were just following steps. And my marketing manager, and he was telling me, what are these guys doing? They're just commenting below us. Then the answer that I had for him was, let them do it. That is what I always wanted. Let them go and fight, right? So that's not actually going in my prospective client. He has got 10 distractions in so the more that in my find here the success of castle, and can we build big number of towers? The more the towers, the better it is, but the towers should not be weak. So the moment that you think of starting Facebook, make it strong. Otherwise, it's as good as useless. And you need to pick and choose and try to make the towers where you have the weakest point. And then if you have it, then one part is done. So this is how I see it. Pinterest, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, or whatever, this can be different as well. So this is your business. So this is how we have been doing, right? But these are tight. This should be tightly bound to your business, and the same consistency of brand and communication and everything should go. But along with this, more important thing is this type of contents and where it goes. This official thing, these things, obviously you plan the content in this form, but it is also important that you think in this way as well. When you actually make a social media strategy, when you are making something for an official blog, where does it go? And if you are creating a research report, where are the different venues that it can go? What are the different forms that you can create? So once you have it, then make it close. The moment that you build, you need to build also, because you are just reusing in multiple ways. And the best part is you have one content, it goes to multiple different sources, and the impact that you can get from one particular activity, it could be a research or a white paper or a book or whatever you have done as a marketing campaign, it just multiplies by maybe, we have seen it multiply by more than 100 times in terms of reach when done correctly. So how much to spend? And this is another very, very important thing most of the people have. And I request you to not to take this as in like this is what it is. But I'm just trying to give. I just want to give you some idea about how much it actually costs if you are going and talking to the agencies, right? So basically, there are a lot of things to do, and social media is not. You have to create. There are different ways. There are different things to do. Community management, industry analysis, social media analysis, creative design, photography, research. All this needs people. Listening, ORM, respond to relevant messages, analyze aggregated buzz, defensive materials, right? And then campaign, the photos, research, presentations. A lot of this would go in a very good social media campaign. And I've seen it, like the good retainer for a good size company is around 5 lakhs a month. And I know most of the companies in India are not paying this, they're paying much less. And then that is the reason why they are failing. And I actually got a question like few weeks back, why there are not enough good case studies about amazing social media campaigns from India. And I think this is the reason why. This is on the minimum side, running good campaign. I'm not talking about some amazing building a next generation game or a platform or amazingly big strategy that is being done by Starbucks and Intel and others in US. This is just the bare minimum where a good agency can give a very good in prices, and it is at least 10 lakhs a month. And this gets divided into the creative side, the analysis side and research side, and also the content generation and marketing and community management, and a lot more actually. So, and a good expected team size is at least 6 to 8 people. And when an agency is running a very good, amazing social media campaign, they might be using half or time of few people. So overall effective time might be like 3 to 4 people. But in overall different qualities, I think this is what is it is required. And even the prerequisite and the additional cost that I see is making video also. I actually asked few of the video making companies how much they charge, so I've just kept their numbers. I don't know whether uh, this is what is uniform across India, but I got it from 3 companies in Bangalore. Around 1.5 to 3 lakhs per video is the cost, and a good campaign would require a lot of videos. And if we look at the amazing uh, companies that are doing good in social media, they're spending much more than this. And a good website is a prerequisite to a good social campaign, because the moment that you start doing a lot of social media activity, people would go and look at your website, and if you're not there up to the mark, then it might not get you anywhere. And before the questions, I just have few slides remaining, which is on KPIs and ROIs. See, there are only 3 ROIs. Let's be very clear on it. It's whether it's the money earned, money saved, or the boss created. There is no fourth ROI for any types of marketing that anybody does in the world, right? And then we just have to map all these three to the our KPIs that we have in the engagement rate, community size, brand opinion, reach, website visit, cases closed, Google mentions, number of articles written, and social buzz. And the way that I suggest that you present ROI or major KPIs to maybe if you are from an enterprise to your bosses, or if you are in an agency to the companies or the clients, in terms of some of the very concrete metrics. And this the bottom line can be mapped to the top three. And then, like in some cases, you might need some inputs from the participating client, and in some cases you might not. So a very typical return on investment, I would say about, suppose, say, let us take an example that MTS has actually invested in this. Whether I don't know whether you will know this, but in Social Samosa, this MTS has actually participated or in creating this amazing election tracker. It is not from us; it's from one of our competition. But I really like the fact that MTS has actually participated in this, and the return of investment for MTS, right, is not only this number of shares, likes, and comments and all that, right, but I would actually do MTS plus election tracker here, or maybe use a platform like ours and see the amazing article coverage that they're getting, right? And if they have to spend this in PR, every big media houses has written about them. I don't know how much they have actually spent. They have maybe I don't think they have spent more than like 5 to 10 lakh rupees in that, but I don't have the official figures. I don't want to ask them as well. But the thing is, the return I think they got is amazing. I think they got a return of few crore rupees. And I know getting a one column small size ad in Times of India or maybe Indian Express would cost us few lakh rupees. So if you keep on adding that over a period of maybe last 20 days, and next 20 days or 30 days also, it will remain there, and more people will write, right? The returns is huge. So in this case, I would actually suggest forget about everything. Just calculate on the number of news articles, and then you can get what are the subscription numbers for each of those newspapers, or what are and you can get from Alexa ranking where do those websites are there, and get a proxy of how many people can actually read or reach, right? And then you get that number. That number is going to just blow up the mind of everyone. Maybe that this particular exercise of MTS might have bigger impact than all the other marketing campaigns put together by them. It could be possible. I don't have that because I have not done that exercise, but I'm very, very excited with what they are getting. So this is how I would suggest to look at the ROIs and KPIs. And there are a lot of different metrics other people are using. Cases closed, if you are not from the BPO or the customer service industry, this is on like closing the customer service queries or the problems. So suppose say you complain to HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank, Airtel, or some of the other companies who are very active in social media. Then somebody from their social media contact center, they will respond and they will solve their queries there, and that is a direct ROI. Right? So there are a lot of things. So now, this is what I want to end this with. Right? Strategy is not focused on ROI but on winning. Right? So sometimes we get focused so much on ROIs, right? And we forget uh, that the ultimate thing is not on this smaller fighting for KPIs and ROIs, but the ultimate thing is winning. Are you winning on the short term in terms of revenues? Are we in for the long term? Are we the guy who is interesting in the market? Are we the guy where people want to talk about? Are we the brand that the media writes about, right? So there are a lot of interesting things which can be created. So this actually ends my presentation. So now over to Kapil for different questions, and I'll be happy to answer.
Yeah, so first of all, thanks a lot, Bhupender. A lot of interesting insights on all that what you have shared, including the MTS case. One of the things that I really liked is, everybody talks about go and listen first and then implement the campaign. But after listening, it's not just about analyzing the listening, but also analyzing what you want to do, who you want to be, before you really decide on what to act on, which was a very powerful insight for me. So one of the question I have before
Sure.
I open it for everybody is, when it comes to listening, and so there are organizations with varied size, varied domains, and there are a lot of tools that are currently available, which will help you to listen in different ways. How to really decide which is the best tool for me? Is there some sort of broad level guidelines that you can share with all of us?
Sure. So the most important thing is to find that what is your end goal. So there are different tools from outside. We might say that there are a lot of platforms for social media in the market, but each of them have very specific strong areas. Like uh, there are social media listening platforms. There are social media analytics platforms. There are uh, I'll just give you one very very quick thing. So this might actually clear a lot of your queries. So there is there are platforms for listening. There are publishing. Publishing is more about uh, running some media campaigns or posting in various networks. There is profile analytics where you actually want to know that what is your community size, how good are your campaigns performing, like what is the strength of the community in terms of engagement rate and all that comes to profile analytics. Then there are engagement platforms. Engagement is purely like just keep talking to the people, and especially Hootsuite is extremely strong in engagement and publishing. And there is social ad management. So apart from Salesforce, no one has it so far. Ad management, especially a lot of companies don't keep it because Facebook ad management is very strong, and most of the other social networks that people do not run much ads on. Now Twitter is coming forward, and I think out of the activity we'll see next 3 months from Twitter. Then CRM integration, which is like in lot of your use cases. Like I don't know which different business domain that you come from, but if you actually are very tech savvy and already using some CRM systems, then it might make more sense for you to keep using the existing CRM system and integrate the social media right there, right? So there are different strong areas, and then like the way that we see is first you need to understand what are the different things among six that you need for your company and what is your goal. Suppose say you are a new brand. So let me just give you an example. uh, you have just introduced a brand, and the first thing is if you want to go really aggressive in social media and you want to aggressively run on different campaigns, build community, engage, and then like build a leadership, then you would require some platform which is extremely strong in profile analytics and publishing. And then as you move, as your brand become more visible and people start talking, then you would require a platform for listening as well. And and then obviously like most of the platforms have the engagement part part with there. So this is from the functional level. Now let us take the another part. Now the very important part that you also want to choose platform after considering is, do the platforms that you consider have local support. So local support means the team in your geography, local data. Does it cover, suppose for India, does that tool cover Indian data? Uh, if it is not, if it is weak, then the tool becomes useless. Third thing is, if you have a requirement of local languages as well, right? So most of India is most of the online India is English, but if you have specific requirements on regional languages, or like if you have a business which is there in multiple countries, so you might want to decide with a platform that has good language support, good, and obviously on the data side you want it. And the fourth, and I think one of the very important aspect, like especially when you choose the listening platform, is also uh, on uh, so listening. You might be listening for doing customer service, you might be listening to do market research and building the market intelligence practice, you might be listening to actually engage with the people and as in marketing or ORM activity. So there are specific tools where some of the companies are strong, and some, if in some areas that some companies are weak, then you have to question them. I can see that a lot of the competition players and us, we all focus on enabling the businesses as much as possible, but some of the companies are still focusing on giving a fantastic dashboard in the front, but they don't have the sufficient workflow at the back. So I would suggest, before going for a listening solution, think yourself what you want to do, what are your business goals, and once you are very clear on your business goals, then make a list of what you expect from the platforms and ask the specific questions to them. And anybody who uh, gives you the most satisfactory answer, I think that is the right guy to go with.
Great. I think that was really comprehensive. So, the another question is from Prasad Vikram Rao. You mentioned about building towers for a business or a brand. Now, could you give some more examples on how exactly some success cases on how to build towers for a business or a brand?
Okay, so let us just take few examples, right? Just to go here. So I'll just show you like few of the examples, right? So the first thing is, if you look at this Coca-Cola page, right? One very interesting thing about Coca-Cola is Coca-Cola never had in country-specific pages. They always said we will have just one. That is their strength, right? And they focused on building one page with putting all the resources there. So this becomes an amazingly highly engaging and highly followed page, right? And if we look from outside, and now Facebook has also enabled all the company pages to come together, and a lot of the facilities are there. But these guys were even before they started all this. And if you look at this, the strength that Coca-Cola had, right, was about one unified and the most followed brand in the world, right? That was clearly their strength. And I'll show you about so this company, actually Sun Life in Canada, they started creating a lot of different social media strongly all these particles. So I'll show you where is the blog. Actually, this people, they invested a lot in creating all the social channels, and they have a amazing good content strategy around that. And if you look at all this different pages they have, their activities and everything is extremely strong. And there are some how much, it's 14,000 views. I'll just go their blog. Actually, this company is known for their blog. This is their Brighter Life. So this is, I would say, this Brighter Life is one initiative which these guys started, and this company, they relate a lot with Brighter Life. And the lady who started this is also awarded with a lot of awards, and she has actually created a space for the company in a very boring and competitive and highly regulated industry that many industry players say. She made this all fun in social media. And I think this lady, she took content as one of the building towers there, and mostly it's the blog which she has started this. Then there is Brand Watch, one of our competitors. If you look at their videos, they create amazingly huge number of videos. These guys are one of our competition, and these guys are so amazing in this creating videos, right? That whatever you search in YouTube and any social media related things, these guys pop up. And we face a lot of problems because of that, and we constantly try to fight back. And then for us, it's this. And I'll just show you about this. We have 109 slides. We publish a lot of research reports every month, every week, and all that. And most viewed, I'll just show you. So are you a boring company? It got 68,000 views, and we have a lot of on 57,000 and 50,000 views. All these PPTs, and in terms of analytics, I think we got over 1 million views over. These are all different pillars that the companies have focused and built. So it is very important that before you start building a strategy, what is your going to be the next pillar? So first, one pillar will be amazingly powerful. Then you go to the next, and then build a next pillar. So these are different power areas. So it could be a different site like this and promoting it. It could be like Brides of India for Malabar Gold. So they have a complete property around this Brides of India, and then like they have recently started with their Pinterest profile. So whenever anybody is searching for an bridal jewelry, Malabar has completely dominated them. Look at this property, and then there are all the different properties that they have created. So the most important thing over here is like you have certain options. You have an option of blog, YouTube, SEO. You have an option of Facebook, Twitter, and all this. So think of 2 or 3 first. Amazingly use them as your main power centers, and then use the others to support the first, because we use Twitter, Facebook, and everything to promote our SlideShare channel. So if you are following us in Facebook or Twitter or anywhere, right, there aren't much strategies that we used to put actually in Facebook or Twitter. But now once we are very stable and amazing like this, we published 16 hours before and we already have 1500 views for this particular report. So we use to promote this, and this is one of the pillars. And once you make one pillar, go for the next, and then keep building it. So after slides here, now we're in Google Plus and Facebook, and then we have started doing small SEO. And maybe after 3 months, once our Facebook and Google Plus will be at a certain level, then we move to others. So that's the way to build. And then like even in Quora, right, we do have a very solid presence, and a lot of the competition, especially the Indian competition, whenever a new emerges, right, we have a lot of mentions over here. We have 516 followers, and I don't know, like it doesn't show I think how many areas we are mentioned. So this should be easily in at least in 10,000 questions that we are mentioned there. So a new competition, when it comes, they go and start answering that. So to answer those 10,000, obviously they will take time. And most of those things, when you decide to focus on one pillar, that okay, these are the 5 pillars that I want to go, the best way to execute is also to have participation from all the employees of the company, whoever is interested, and ask them to just support in whatever way they can. Because for Quora, like it was not possible for the marketing team to just go and keep on answering them, but we asked everybody to go and just talk about Singular 360, whoever could, and we got very good response. A lot of the technical people went and answered technical queries and all that. So hope this answers your question.
Absolutely, and definitely congratulations on building up such a strong pillars across various social media channels for your organization. One question that comes to my mind is you've been building a lot of reach across various social media channels, and it's also asked by Sareem in this regard. When it comes to social media, do you really track in terms of what is the number of conversions you're getting across these channels, or the traffic that you're able to generate on your website through these channels? Do you really track them? And if you do, should like somebody who is starting a new campaign on social media, should they keep that as an ROI metrics in the initial phase or not? So what's your views on that?
Okay, so I'll just show you one recent marketing report that I get, and especially what I feel is like once we have so this is the report. So our report is very simple. So this is what I look at: web mentions, inbound links, Google global Alexa rank, traffic, and average visit, and all this. And number of leads is the top, how much I get. And this is like I keep giving my marketing team different like targets, and these are the benchmarks. So I usually look at like top 10 competition that I have in the market. I average them out. I keep the benchmark, and I tell them either you reach or you fail. Okay, and this type of campaigns, right, and this type of metrics that if you give, the benefit that I have seen it earlier, I used to tell people like how many ebooks did you publish, how many research reports did you come up with, and all this type of different metrics that we used to look earlier. Then people actually become just delivery, and they just start becoming delivery guys. They will come and they will keep on pushing content, and then whenever you ask that whether the content are working, they will say I've done what I was supposed to do. And then the better part is if you just give them a high level metric, okay, give me 100 leads, business leads, finish. Then like usually like they're very focused on that, and they know where they're failing, where they're doing good. and then like it becomes a very ROI driven or an extremely like business focused organization. So we actually started in this model last 1 year, and I've seen that the best part about having this type of metric is the marketing manager or the people in the marketing team are very happy with that, and they actually become thinkers and not limit themselves to the delivery people, where you save your time as in CMO or in marketing leader or the business leader, then you don't have to think every time. They will do the thinking.
Got it. Great. So keep focus on the results and everything will happen. Great. So, guys, while I'm taking more questions, I'm just launching this poll in front of you. In case you want to try Simplify 360, just mention yes over there, and we'll forward your contact details to Simply 360 guys, and they will contact you shortly with the further details. So, there's another interesting question by Manjula Shroff. She wants to know, if you have 100 rupees to spend, what percentage will you spend on social media and what percentage will you spend on conventional media? So what's your take on that?
See, if I just have 100 rupee, right, I'll spend entire 100 rupee in social media. I'll not go for anything else. See, that is something that is a very good option, and for a lot of companies, I'll give you why so confidently I can tell you is Coffee Day, right? Before they became 5,000 crore company, they didn't do anything outside social media, right? And that is a real life example. It happened in India. And the CMO, when Mr. Ramki was the CMO of the organization, he declared that in the CMO summit. So the very interesting thing now is that it also depends on different types of business that we are in. For me, it would be 100. Even Coffee Day did 100, so that was another amazing thing for me. But then, like in the industry, typically uh, people are spending around 25% in digital and 25% of that in social. So that has been the normal feedback that I get from the industry. But a lot of the companies are also focusing or giving a very good focus on social media, and some of the organizations are actually moving uh, much further, not doing anything on other part of digital apart from social media. I have a lot of example around in that category. A lot of companies are already doing it, and my suggestion would be like you should first think that what are your business goals, right? With that 100 rupee, what do you want to achieve? So suppose say if in a very tight scenario where you need two business leads instantly, right? Then social media might not be the right way to go in terms of campaigning. It could be to reach out. You can just go search in LinkedIn and Twitter and find few people and just reach out, and then uh, that type of things are possible. But getting slightly more number of leads running campaigns is quite difficult. But then suppose say like you can generate few leads at least for some time, and then you want to actually go for a much bigger aggressively building the next generation of reach or the platform, or go for web dominance. If you have that type of thought in yourself, then you have to at least give around 30 to 40% of your digital marketing budget, at least that amount, to social media to at least create a good impact and a sustainable and good impact actually.
Great. So
I'm sure I, I didn't answer it, but yeah. So there is no specific point to it. I think just to follow thumb rule, I think 30% of digital marketing in social is a good amount.
got it. So 30% is a benchmark, and people have spent 100% also. It depends on your belief. Great. So, I'm taking more questions, and simultaneously I'm launching this another poll. In case you're interested in taking a formal course in digital marketing space, as part of Digital Vidya, we do that. So you can just specify yes over here, and someone from our team will call you. There's another interesting strategy level question by Shunishtha Singh. She wants to know, how to convince companies to spend money on social media. What logic can possibly justify the money that they spend on? Uh, I'm sure you would have faced the similar questions lot many times in your sales discussions,
Yeah.
and especially she wants to know people with the old mindset, uh, wherein they think
Mhm.
social media does not help. What approach should one take? If you could just throw some light on this.
Sure. So one of the technique that I personally take is, see, the biggest motivation for anybody, right? Any of us, is fear, and I think fear is the number one motivation for anybody to act. The second is the passion, or the vision, maybe, right? So passion and vision comes second. The first is fear. So if you can prove that if he's not in social media and if he's not spending, he's doomed, right? That is one very powerful strategy that needs to be used. And I constantly use that. I tell people, I give them case studies over case studies, and if you're not prepared, you are just doomed. And there are a lot of the areas where we saw, example, a case in Vodafone, right, where this would technology journalist for criticizing the brand on Facebook, and Vodafone stocks went viral for 2 days, right? That is an amazing case study. And uh, and then, like, the first thing is you need to give what are the different problems that has been created with not being social, number one. Number second is giving the threat of where the competition has already taken it and then they're making it big, number second, right? And third thing is, uh, in terms of in terms of threat, right? It's also the threat from the, maybe the PR angle, or maybe around that, if you can find a way. Like when I was actually pitching to one of the telecom companies, I met them. I was with a partner agency, and we went there, and I showed them a simple case study how Tata Docomo became the most followed brand in India at one point of time, and how many news articles did they create just because of that. And then, like, we just presented them a case where if they are not countering Tata Docomo, then whole media is just talking about Tata Docomo, so the people will move, right? So this type of stories need to be planted, and I think when we take a real life example, like in this case Tata Docomo and all this, then they get really like enthusiastic. The second thing is about vision and passion, right? Nowadays I just go and ask the business leaders, what is your son doing, or what is your sister doing, or what is your uh, granddaughter doing these days, in the whole 24 hours in a day? What does she do? She spends 5 hours in Facebook, right? And then she hardly watches half an hour in television. Then why are you spending that money in television? Because the most of the kids are like your grandchildren, or your daughter, right? So usually I use these type of examples, and in many cases it happens to be working, because this is the real market movement which we have to educate people with these type of examples. And I think more and more, if we can bring examples of live examples, like before signing a client, I told them that my dad was a power user of Facebook, and he didn't believe that my dad is using it and his friends are there. Then we actually went to my dad's Facebook profile, and I showed him how he's using and how he is connected to my grandmother, who is also in Facebook, right? Then then the brand which I was talking to, they started saying, oh my god, even the people are using that. And then I told him, why don't you just go and ask to your relatives whether they are in Facebook? Because the thing that most of the marketers think today is only the technology guys, the tech savvy guys, and the social media guys are there in Facebook. But the reality is, most of the people now are using Facebook and YouTube and others, and they are not watching TV. For me, apart from football matches and cricket matches, I don't watch TV at all. So if any brand is giving advertisement there, for the people like me, can never reach me. So these are some of the ways I think we need to educate, and force people uh, to be there and to spend even more. Uh, just I think need to give this type of business.
Great. So show them the reality, show them good case studies, and that's the way out. Great. So now there are actually, I
Yeah.
think I've tried to cover a lot of strategy related questions. There are a lot of tactical questions that are also been asked. So since we've already exceeded 7 minutes, I'll just take a couple of them. Shreya Mulidhar, she
Okay.
has a question. How can you compare social media ads with regards to Google ads? So in case you have any opinion on which one should go for and how should one decide, that'll be good.
Okay. See, I don't want to just jump into one or the other conclusion that this one is good or that one is good, right? But it all depends on what you want to achieve, right? And if you want, in terms of targeting, I think Facebook is as good as Google, and maybe better because it has all the personal profiles and thing also, right? Maybe targeting user is better even for PPC ads in Facebook, and I have while discussing with about this with one gentleman, and he is the business head of a company called Software, which is in the social TV side, right? He was telling me that uh, the conversion that he is getting in Google PPC ads is at least like 30 to 40% higher than Google, right? Facebook is actually performing better. So that is one data that I have. Like we don't use Google ads, we only use like Facebook ads, and that also minimal. We mostly depend on content. So my personal experience isn't there for Simplify 360 as such, but I think it also depends on what type of campaign that you want to launch, how aggressive that you want to go, and all a lot of that, right? Suppose say if you are a Cadbury and you want to launch some massive big campaign, right? So I wouldn't suggest just to focus on Facebook, but you obviously have to do a lot on Google as well. But the percentages be like you might want to maximize your thing with the effective reach. If you have clearly defined a reach in terms of people's profile, then go for social ads. If you are not able to define clearly what type of profile that you want to reach out, then maybe with the activity driven things that you can go to Google. So suppose say I'll just give you an example. So suppose you want to reach out to anybody who is maybe interested in social media listening or social media tools, or like that. Suppose for me, if I want to do a lead generation thing, right? Maybe Google is a better platform for me, so that whenever somebody is searching for social media listening, the ad pops up. But if I want to build a different type of content strategy, and then suppose say if we are going to host an event in India, and I want the industry players to come, right? Then maybe I will go to Facebook and run a campaign with a specific type of profile that people have written social media in their social media marketing or social digital marketing in the profiles. I might target directly from the profiles there, right? So it would depend on your particular type of activity. I would say best part is uh, create a test case, run for some time, analyze the impact, right, and then keep on doing it, keep repeating it.
Got it. So I think that was very helpful. So guys, I think we have already exceeded 10 minutes, and I assume we have actually answered all the questions in some form or other. In case your question has not been answered, we would be actually mailing you the recording of this event very soon. So you can actually, and we'll do a blog post on this as well. So you can just comment your question as a blog on the blog over there, and we'll try to respond to your questions over there. So at this point, I really want to thank Bhupinder for very, very insightful session, especially all the insightful statistics that he had shared, which has like sort of given a lot of new insights to me at least. So I'm sure it was sort of a very meaningful session for all of you. So thanks a lot, Bhupinder, and thanks a lot everybody for joining in.
Thanks, Kapil. Thanks everyone.
Thanks. So the session is closed. Thanks a lot.